dare to expose myself like that. But son, why take a terrible burn? I'll never forget the burn I took one time. It was one time on Moon Lake one Sunday before I was married. I never did like to go fishing, but one of those fellows, one of the Peterson boys, insisted that we go fishing. Well, he never caught nothing, but he just kept fishing, and I just sat in the boat with all that hot sun on me. And sure enough, I took such a burn I had to lay on my stomach the next 3 nights. I fell in the lake once, too. Also with one of the Peterson boys. On another fishing trip. Well, I never did go out with those boys, but something happened which made me wish I hadn't. That was a wild bunch of boys, those Peterson boys. One time, sunburned. One time, nearly drowned. One time, poison ivy. Well, looking back on it now, though, we had a lot of fun in spite of it, though.
I, as a young teen in the early 60s, saw a sweet bird of youth with Paul Newman at a dilapidated old movie theater in downtown West Palm, and was greatly affected by it, most deleteriously. Thought I would be Chance Swain in a few years. The girl I chose for my heaven wouldn't follow the script. Laura Lee. Oh, she was marvelously tan, lithe, and blonde. A diver hoping to go to the Olympics. I remember Chance saying, "This is a flashlight photo I took of her nude one night on Diamond Key, which is a little sandbar about half a mile offshore, which is underwater at high tide. This was taken with the tide coming in. The water is just beginning to lap over her body like it designed her, like I did and still do and will always." Heavenly was her name. You can see that it fits her. This was her at 15. We had each other that early. We had our Diamond Key too. It was half a mile north of the Riviera Public Beach on Singer Island in a deserted area off of alternate A1A. Because of the dead coral outcroppings that appeared at low tide, it was called, can't call it that today. A ship, the Amaryllis, ran aground there during Hurricane Betsy and remained for years. A landmark for those looking for fun and pleasure, a place to go during the day and night. One line from that movie never left me. The great difference between people in this world is not between the rich and the poor, or the good and the evil. The biggest of all differences in this world is between those who have or had pleasures and love, and those who haven't or hadn't any pleasures and love, but just watched it with envy, sick envy, the spectators and the performers. I don't mean just ordinary pleasures of the kind you can buy, I mean great pleasures. And nothing that's happened to me or to Heavenly since can cancel out the many long nights without sleep when we gave each other such pleasure and love that very few people can look back on in their lives. I remembered it, how I wanted it. As long sleepless nights making love, worshiping each other's bodies and every part thereof. Yes, it was as intense as that, but early high school tame compared to what we would do today, I'm sure. Oh, we had our ups and downs, and I somehow was not her first. Her parents favored another and pushed him hard upon her. I frightened her. Still waters run deep, is what her mother told her, referring to me. And her mother's wish was anyone but me. One time, as her mother was driving us home from diving practice, out of the blue, she, with dangerous intentions, asked, "Are you a leg man or a breast man?" Now, why would her mother ask me that? Before I could politely refuse to answer, my heavenly jumped into the trap. "Oh, he's an in-between man." Her mother's toes must have curled up a bit because the car picked up speed. Abruptly, but more than gradually. An in-between man. That I was. But a worse answer could not have been provided. Hard it had been for us to see each other. After that, near impossible. But we found ways. After high school, colleges, many colleges, not finishing, I ended up in New York with some minor success acting. Playing both leads in The Importance of Being Earnest at the Roundabout. Alternating one night Jack, Algernon the next. Thinking I would be a star. And go back and bring her along with me. Instead, I was drafted. Headed home to be inducted. Night before, after a short session of lovemaking, she pledged to wait for me. I told her no. She insisted. 4 months later, she was married. My mother sent the clippings to me where I'd been posted, our dry and dusty Southwest where the first atomic bomb changed the world. But no Vietnam. Lucky me. Found out later she was pregnant. Obviously pregnant when taking her vows. Mine? Thought that for years. Decades later, her second husband filled in the details of her daughter's age, her birthday, relieving me of any and all concerns. 20 years later, I'm standing alone on the fantail of a cruise ship headed east towards Nassau. A weekend high school reunion for the more well-heeled. As the sunset silhouette in Palm Beach, in the distance I watch as she appears, winding her way through the crowd of familiar faces with forgotten names, those I can't recall or never knew, making a grand entrance. A little heavier and older, but still appealing. Can't turn over to me, smiling with sparkle and sorrow in her eyes. Speaking better. Nothing is said till she whispers in my ear. I have always loved and will always love you. My new husband is the nicest man. Treats me like a goddess. I don't love him. He knows that, and he can say it when he proposes. It has always and only been you. No, she wasn't heavenly. In fact, she, like most women that interest me, had an edgy appeal from another place and of another sort. Dangerously enticing, inviting, alluring. Luring me to most assured destruction and me willingly along for the ride. As she spoke these words, out of the corner of my eye, I saw him standing at a distance on the deck above, watching the two of us. Poor, sad soul, witnessing his wife's true behavior. Careful for what you wish. He turned away and for a moment and then turned back. But when he did, it wasn't him at all. It was me I saw standing there on the upper deck looking down on my wife, and her whispering all those lovely words into another man's ear. At least that's what more than crossed my mind. How lucky I was. Not that I married her. That's right, I never felt so lucky at that moment. Clearly seeing her true nature. And fool that I am for how I've wasted all those deep sleep dreams on her. No, Laura Lee was no heaven. And me,
celebrating Mr. Williams and Mr. Chekhov's birthday with us on behalf of all of us at the Simon Studio. We hope you'll come back and celebrate with us again regularly. We're always here on Wednesday nights, Saturday afternoons, falling on our ass on a regular basis. Continuing to grow. Have a good night. Thanks for coming.